Mirz Hashem, we're going to learn Brachos Daf Lamed Daled. We're going to start the Mishnah 3 lines from the top of the Amud. Says the Mishnah, Ha'omer Yivaruchucha Toivim. If somebody says that only tzaddikim, only good people praise Hashem, Hareze Darkei Minos, there's some little bit of heresy of kfira that seeped in, and it's opposite to the emunah that we know. We know that everything in the world has a purpose and has a way of praising Hashem, including those that are not tzaddikim. Rashi in Megillah writes that somebody who's not koilel, he doesn't include Roshoim when he praises Hashem, it's a big problem. And the Gemara in Krisis Davav Amud Beis, Rashi brings, actually writes that benegea to the Samamonic Ketores, and the Ketores brought in the Beis Hamikdash, there were 11 spices, and one of them was actually the chelvanah that had a bad taste, a bad smell on its own, and it was put together with the other spices, enhancing all the spices. Even somebody who's a big Rasha, in some form or fashion, he's enhancing Kvei Shemaim. Says the Mishnah, Ha'over lifnei hateva, if somebody is a shliach tzibur davening for the Amud, V'ta, and he made a mistake, he missed out one of the brachas, he got confused, Yavir acher tachtov, then we replace him with a different shliach tzibur. V'lo yehi sarvon, at that point the new shliach tzibur, the one who's being asked to take over the first shliach tzibur, should not refuse, rather he should bo'isa shah at that point, rather he should go straight to the Amud and continue, so that there should not be too much of an interruption in the middle of the Chazaras Hashatz. Meichonu maskil, where does this second shliach tzibur start from? Mitchilas habracha sheta zeh, from the beginning of that bracha that the first shliach tzibur got confused in. Continues the Mishnah, Ha'over lifnei hateva, a shliach tzibur lo yane omein achar hakoyanim. The birchas koyanim consists of 3 brachas. Yivarecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, Yoyer Hashem panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom. And between each of those brachas we say Amen. However, the shliach tzibur should not say Amen between these brachas, Mipnei hatiruf, because there's a good chance that the shliach tzibur will get confused if he's also answering Amen and also has to get prepared to start reading the next bracha. He may get confused and therefore should not say Amen. In the event that the shliach tzibur is the only kohen, even if he's the only kohen, lo yisa es kapov, he should not do birchas kohanim, because he might face the crowds doing birchas kohanim and suddenly get stage fright, and he'll get confused and he will not be able to continue immediately after birchas kohanim with the chazaras hashatz, and therefore a shliach tzibur should not be doing birchas kohanim even if he's the only kohen. If he's confident that he is able to do the Birchas Kohanim without getting confused, and then immediately after Birchas Kohanim continues Sim Shalom, Rishoi, he's allowed to do that. Says the Gemara, Tonu Rabbanon, Ha'ivir lifnei hateva, a shliach tzibur tzorich lesariv. At first he should refuse. In the event that as soon as somebody says, the Gabba says to him, can you please be the shliach tzibur, says yeah, sure, and he goes straight to the Amud, he's doime letavshil she'ein bo melech. It looks as if he's considered or similar, or he's compared to a dish which is missing salt. It's as if he's crying out, yeah, I just can't wait to be the shliach tzibur. V'im mesarev yoyser midai, and if he refuses too much, then he's doime letavshil shehikdichosei melech. Then it's compared to a dish where it's been oversalted, as if no, that's too much for me already. I can't be a shliach tzibur. That's also not good. Keitzadu oisa. What's the correct way of doing it? Pam rishona, the first time that the Gabba comes and asks somebody to be the shliach tzibur, Yisariv, he should humbly refuse. Shniya, the second time he's asked, mehavhev, he should shuffle his legs as if to say, okay, I'm happy to do it, and get prepared, but he shouldn't actually jump up and run to the Amud. Shlishis, once he's asked the third time, Poishet as Raglov Yered, he should get up and go straight down to the Amud. Continues the Gemara, Tonu Rabbanon. Shloisha, there are 3 things that Rubon, that in access, kosher, it's not good, Umiuton, but in moderation, Yofa, it's nice. Ve'eluhein, Soir, yeast in dough, too much is not good, in moderation is just right. Umelach and salt, v'sarvonus, and refusing to be a shliach tzibur. Continues the Gemara, Omer of Huna, Ta'a b'sholish rishonos. If a first shliach tzibur got confused in the middle of one of the first three brachas of Shemona Esra, chayzer l'roish, he goes back to the beginning of the three brachas. Be'emtzois, if he gets confused in one of the 12 middle brachas, chayzer la'atochinin, he goes back to the first of the middle brachas of atochinin. Ba'achroinos, if he gets confused in one of the last three brachas, chayzer la'avoida, he goes back to Ritzei, the first of the last three brachas. That was the opinion of Rav Huna. Rav Asi Omar, emtzois ein lohem seida. So the pashtus, what this means is that there's no order, which means it's not one block. If you got confused anywhere in the middle of the middle brachas, then he goes back to the beginning of that bracha that he got confused in, and goes in order from there till the end of the Shemona Esra. That's how Tosfos learns. Rashi adds on here, and Tosfos argues with Rashi, but Rashi adds on, Ein Lem Seder means not only that the middle brachas are not one block, and he can start from wherever he got confused, but even if he got confused in just one bracha in the middle, but he's already continued with some other brachas, he can go back and just re-say that one bracha he got confused, and then jump forward to where he's up to. They do not need to be in sequence or in order. Moshe Rav Sheshes. Rav Sheshes asked a question, Mehechon hu chayzer. Where does he go back from? Mitchilas habracha shetob zeh. The brisa that Rav Sheshes is quoting says that the second shliach tzibur goes back to the beginning of the bracha that he made a mistake, and the pashtus is that from there he has to go in order. And so the girsa here, especially according to Rashi, is tiyufta de Rav Asi. It's definitely a tiyufta, a question that's not answerable against Rav Asi, who says ein lohem seder. And according to Rashi, this is understandable, because according to Rashi, he can jump around and say the brachas out of order, and in this brisa that Rav Sheshes brought, it says mitchilas habracha shetah zeh, he goes in order till the end. The question is it also a tiyufta on Rav Huna? Because Rav Huna says that he go right back to atochinin, and this brisa says he goes back to the bracha that he got confused with. So is it also a tiyufta de Rav Huna? Says the Gemara, Rav Huna can answer it and explain, we consider all the 12 brachas in the middle as being a single bracha, and therefore when the brisa says that he's choyzer mitchilas habracha shetah to the beginning of the bracha that the first shliach tzibur made a mistake, then it actually means to that one single bracha, which is the collective term of all 12 brachas, which means atochinin, and then it's not contrary to what Rav Huna said. Continues the Gemara. Omar of Yehuda, La'olam al yishal odom tzrochav, a person should not ask for his own personal needs, loy b'sholish rishonos, not in the first three brachas, v'loy b'sholish achronos, and not in the last three brachas, elo b'emtzios, only in the middle brachas. And when it's a small, short request, then he should put the request into the bracha that's applicable. For example, if he wants a refuah for somebody, put it in Rafa'enu. If he wants parnasa, put it in Borech Aleinu. If it's anything more lengthy and not directly associated to one of the brachas that he's saying anyway, he puts it into the last of the middle brachas, Shema Keileinu. Da'amar of Chanina, Rishonos doime le'eved shemasadir shvach lifnei rabbi. The first three brachas are compared to a servant, to a slave who's coming to give praise to his master. It's inappropriate at that point to ask for one's personal needs. Emtzoyos, the middle brachas, doime le'eved shemavakish pras. It's miraboy, it's compared to a servant who is asking for a private request of payment of a pras from his master. That's the place where you can ask for what you need. Achroinos, the last brachas, doime le'eved shekibel pras miraboy v'niftar v'holach lei. The last three brachas are compared to a servant who's already received what he's asked, and now he wants to depart from his master. Then he's got to first got to express his gratitude before leaving. The last 3 brachos is the gratitude we say to Hashem for having listened and answered our requests. And whilst showing gratitude, it's again not the place to ask for one's personal needs. Continues the Gemara Tonu Rabbanon. Ma'aseh b'talmid echod, there was a Talmud sheyorad lifnei ateva, where he was the shliach tzibur, b'fnei Rebbe Eliezer, in front of Rebbe Eliezer. V'hoyo marich yesim midai, and he was prolonged. He was davening a very long Shmoneh Esrei. Omalei Talmidov, the Talmidim of Rebbe Eliezer said to him, Rabbeinu, our Rebbe, kama arkon hu zeh, how long is he davening? Omalahem, Rebbe Eliezer said to them, klum marich yesim Moshe Rabbeinu, is his davening longer than that of Moshe Rabbeinu? Tichsiv Bey, it says with Moshe Rabbeinu, es arboim hayoim ves arboim olaylo v'goimer, that Moshe Rabbeinu davened that Hashem should forgive Klal Yisrael for a full 40 days and 40 nights. So he said that this shliach tzibur is not davening that long, it's okay. Shuv ma'aseh b'talmud echad, there was a different Talmud, sheyorad lifnei ateva, he was the shliach tzibur b'fnei Rebbe Eliezer, in front of Rebbe Eliezer. V'hoyo mekatzer yosim midai, he davened a very, very short tefillah. Omar loy Talmidov, his Talmidov again asked him, kama katzron hu zeh, he's doing it so quickly. Omar lei, and again Rebbe Eliezer answered to him, or to them, klum mekatzer yosim Moshe Rabbeinu, is he davening an even shorter tefillah than Moshe Rabbeinu? Dichsiv Moshe Rabbeinu davened for his sister Miriam, who had tzoras, and he just said 5 words, Keil no, please Hashem, refer no lo, please cure her. 5 words, and he's davening a longer tefillah than that. You don't need to worry about it. Continues the Gemara. Omar Rabbi Yaakov, Omar of Chizda. Kol ha'mevakesh rachmim al chaveiroi, somebody who's begging Hashem for mercy for his friend, ein tzarich lahazkir shmoi, he does not need to mention his friend by name. Shenemar, as it says in the above mentioned tefillah that we just mentioned, that Moshe said to Hashem, Keil no refa no lo, v'loi komadkir shmo de Miriam. Moshe Rabbeinu did not mention Miriam's name specifically and explicitly when davening to Hashem, so you see that when davening to Hashem for somebody else, there's no need to mention them by name. Continues the Gemara. Tonu Rabbanon. Eilu brachos she'adam shoiche bohen. The following are the brachos where in Shmoneh Esrei we are required to bow. Ba'avois, in the first bracha of Shmoneh Esrei known as Avois, Tchila v'Soif, at the beginning of the bracha, when we say Baruch Ato Hashem, and the end of the bracha when we say Baruch Ato Hashem Mogen Avram. Bahidah, and the bracha of Moedim, also B'Tchila v'Soif, at the beginning when he says Moedim Anachnu Loch, and at the end where we say L'chon no Eloheidos, Baruch Ato Hashem Hatov Shimcha L'chon no Eloheidos. V'im ba lo shuach b'soif kol bracha o bracha. If somebody wants to bow at the end of every other bracha in Shmoneh Esrei, or b'tchilas kol bracha o bracha, or and at the beginning of any or every other bracha, mlamdin oisei shelo yishche, we tell him that it's inappropriate, it's the wrong thing to do. You only bow where the Chazal told us to bow, which is at the beginning and end of the first bracha and that of Moedim. And Tosfos explains why are we concerned? Let him bow as much as he wants. Tosfos says because if everyone's going to bow as much as they want, then the takana of bowing at the beginning and end of Avos and the beginning of end of Moedim would get forgotten and undermined. Or a second pshat says Tosfos, we're worried he's going to feel haughty just constantly bowing to Hashem. It's inappropriate to do that. Continues the Gemara. Omer Shimon ben Pazi, Omer B'Shua ben Levi, Mishum bar kapara. Hedyoit, an ordinary person, K'moisho marnu, bows exactly like we just said, at the beginning and the end of Avos, and the beginning and end of Haidah, of Moedim. However, Kohen Gadol, who's got a more prestigious position, he's a man of stature, and the greater a person is, the more he has to have humility in front of Hashem. Like Rashi says, Kol mashu gadol b'yoysa tzarich lahachnia or lahashpil atzmai. So being that he's a Kohen Gadol, he needs to humilify himself even more than a regular person, and therefore he's b'soif kol bracha bracha. He bows at the end of all the brachas of Shmoneh Esrei. V'hamelech, a melech who's an even greater person in Klal Yisrael, tchilas kol bracha v'bracha v'soif kol bracha v'bracha. He bows at the beginning and end of every bracha in Shmoneh Esrei. Omer Yitzchak bar Nachmeni, L'didi mefarsheli minei Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. He says it a bit differently. He says, Hedyot k'moshe amarnu, an ordinary person, like we said, bows at the beginning and end of Ovis and the beginning and end of Moedim. Kohen Gadol, the Kohen Gadol is Tchilas kol bracha o bracha, and here the Vilna Gaon is Magia and the Soif, the beginning and end of each of the brachas in Shmoneh Esrei. And a melech, kivun shekara shuvei nezoikif, a king, he bows at the beginning of Shmoneh Esrei and he does not stand up until the end of davening. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, vayikach halois shloimo leispalel. We're talking here about the end of a tefillah that Shlomo said, and Shlomo was a king, a melech, and it says, Kom milifnei mizbach Hashem. He arose before the mizbach Hashem, before the mizbeach, michroya al birkov, from kneeling on his knees. So you see here that when did Shlomo Melech arise? Only kachalois Shlomo leispalel, when he finished davening, which means that he bowed at the beginning of davening and stayed in that position right till the end of davening. Continues the Gemara Tanu Rabbanon, and here the Gemara is going to tell us the difference between different terms used for bowing and prostrating. There's one called Kida, one called Kriya, and one called Hishtachava. And the Gemara is going to explain the difference. Kida, the term Kida means al apayim, one falls on one's face. Shnemer, as it says in the pasuk, Vatikoid Bathsheba apayim eretz. That Vatikoid Bathsheba, when Bathsheba did a Kida, it was with her face on the ground. Kriya, what does the word Kriya mean? Al birkaim, on one's knees. Shnemer, as it says, Mikroya al birkov, he was Kairea, on his knees. Hishtachava, what does that mean? Zu pishut yodayim raglaim, it's extending his hands and feet. This is prostrating fully on the ground. Shnemer, as it says in the pasuk, Havoi novoi ani ve'imcha va'achecha lishtachavo islecha orotza. He is referring to Yosef, who said that his parents and his siblings would come and bow down to him. Lishtachavo islecha, they would do ishtachavo orotza, onto the ground. So you see that ishtachava is full prostration. Omer of Chia, Bereder of Huna, Chaz yolei la'abaye v'rova, and this is not referring to the bowing at the beginning and end of Shmoneh Esrei. This is referring to nefilas apayim, what we call tachanun. He saw that what they used to do at tachanun was not kida, not kriya, not ishtachava, was the matzlu atzluye. They just used to, bend a little bit onto their sides while saying tachanun. Continues the Gemara, and we're going now back to Moedim, where we saw before that an ordinary person, when it comes to Moedim, he bows at the beginning and the end of Moedim. Tani Chodim, one brisa we saw, Hakirea Bahidah, somebody who bows in Moedim, Hareza Meshubach, he's praiseworthy. But Tani Idach, in another brisa we saw, Hareza Meguna, it's inappropriate, he should not bow at Moedim. Says the Gemara, Loi Kasha, we can answer them. Ha bitchila, at the beginning of Moedim, it's praiseworthy. Ha lebasoif, at the end of Moedim, bowing is meguna, it's inappropriate. Rava, kora bahida tchila v'soif. Rava, he bowed at the beginning and the end of Moedim. Omri le Rabbanon, the Rabbanon asked him, Amai ka'ovit marhachi, why do you do this? And they obviously had in mind that we just had a stira in the brises, and there's one brisa that says it's meguna, it's inappropriate, and we said it's inappropriate to bow at the end. Why are you rather doing this? Now here we have a big problem. The brisa we mentioned on Daf Lamed Daled at the bottom of Amud Aleph says explicitly that one should bow at the beginning and end of Moedim. So why are they asking Rava why he did this? He was following that brisa. So the Rishonim here asked the kasha. So the Rashba writes that in the brisa at the beginning of, at the end of the Amud Aleph, one should not be geirus, one should take out the words tchila v'soif. It just says there that you should bow at Moedim. And according to the brisa here, you should only bow at the beginning of Moedim. And then they asked Rava, why did he bow at the end of Moedim? The Raavad says that the whole sugya we're talking now is to do with Moedim D'Rabbanon, which is the Moedim we say in Chazaras Hashatz, and the Gemara on Amud Aleph was talking about the Moedim we say in Quiet Shmoneh Esrei. So either way, they asked Rava that in the face of the Brisa that Hareza Meguna, why are you Rava bowing at the end of Moedim? Omar Luhu, Rava answered, Chazino Rav Nachman, Dekora. I saw that Rav Nachman, he bowed at the beginning and the end of Moedim. I'm doing the same. V'chazino Rav Sheshes Dekora V'tachia, and we saw that Rav Sheshes bowed at the beginning and end of Moedim. V'hotanya Hakirea B'yedah Hariza Maguna. How could Rava, Rav Nachman, Rav Sheshes all bow at the beginning and end when there's a brisa explicitly that says that bowing at the in Moedim, and we said it's the end of Moedim, is inappropriate, is maguna. Says the Gemara, Hahu b'hoidah shebahalil. The brisa that says that bowing at Moedim, at hoidah, is inappropriate is not talking about Moedim in Shemona Esrei. It's talking about Moedim when we say Hoidul Hashem in Halil. And Hoidul Hashem in Halil is not a place to bow down. V'otanya, but there's another brisa that explicitly says Hakirea b'hoidah u'b'hoidah shel Halil hariza meguna. Not only somebody who's kirea, somebody who's bowing in the hoidah of Halil, it's inappropriate. Also somebody who's kirea b'hoidah, referring to Moedim. So the question comes back. It says explicitly that hoidah, which is not the hoidah of Halil, it's also meguna. Says the Gemara, Kitanya hi b'hoidah de birchas hamazon. There's another hoidah which is inappropriate, and it's also not in Shemona Esrei, and that is the hoidah of birchas hamazon. We say noidelecha. In the second bracha of birchas hamazon, noidelecha, to bow there is inappropriate. It's maguna, and that's what the brisa says. Hakirea b'hoidah is maguna, but Moedim in Shemona Esrei, there's no source to say it's maguna, and therefore Rav Nachman, Rav Sheshes, and Rava would all bow at the beginning and end of Moedim. Says the Mishnah, Hamispalil v'ta, if somebody was davening and he got confused, he made a mistake, Siman ra'lo, it's a bad sign for him. V'im shliach tzibur hu, and if he happens to be a shliach tzibur and he gets confused, Siman ra'lo shoilchov, it's a bad sign for the people who sent him to the Amud, because a shliach is compared to the person who sent him, and it's like the person who sent him, and therefore if the shliach tzibur got confused, it's as if the tzibur themselves got confused. It's said about Reb Chanina ben Doisa, he was used to davening for sick people. He would say, this one will live, this one will die. They asked him, how do you know who's going to live and who's going to die? He said to them, if my tefillahs are fluent when I say them, and Rashi adds here, if I feel that my begging Hashem is coming straight from my heart to my mouth, then I know that Hashem is receiving the tefillah. If I can see that my tefillah is not fluent, then I know that he's been rejected. And Rashi says that either it means my tefillah has been rejected, or it means that the sick person has been rejected and he's going to die, he's not going to live. Says the Gemara, Ahai, on which brachos does confusion show that it's a bad sign? Is it any of the brachos, or just some of them? Omer Reb Chia, Omer of Safra, Mishum Chad de Beirav. Reb Chia said in the name of Rav Safra, in the name of one of the Chachomim in the yeshiva of Rav, Ba'ovis. This is only true in the bracha of Ovis. If in the first bracha you get confused, it's a bad sign. Ikad Masnila Abraisa. Some say that this quote, that Ovis is unique, is not referring which bracha it's a bad sign if you get confused, it's referring to a different point. Hamispalil, we know that when somebody davens, tzarich sheyichavin es libo, he has to concentrate his thoughts bekulon on all the brachos of Shemona Esrei. V'im eina yochei lechavin bekulon, if he cannot concentrate with all the brachos in Shemona Esrei, yechavin es libo be'achas, he should at least have concentration, he should have kavana in at least one of the brachos. Which bracha? Omer Reb Chia, Omer of Safra, Mishum Chad de Beirav, ba'ovis. He should have kavana at least in Ovis, and here some are geirus in Ovis or in Moedim. Either one of those two is a minimum that one should have kavana when davening Shemona Esrei. Continues the Gemara. Omru olova Reb Chanina ben Doisa v'chulei. Mino hanimili. where do we find that a fluent tefillah is a sign that the tefillah has been accepted and the person you're davening for is going to get a Yeshua and a refuah? Omer Bishua ben Levi, the Omar Kro, it says in the Pasuk, Boirei Niv Sfasayim, literally translated as the one that created the utterance of lips, Shalom Shalom, peace la rochoik v'la korov, to those who are far and those who are near. Omar Hashem, says Hashem, urafasiv, and I will heal him. And so Rashi explains that Boirei doesn't only mean the creator, it can also come from the term Bori, which means well-being. So Bori nivs fasayim, if the utterance of the lips is healthy, is solid, is fluent, then Shalom Shalom larochiv v'lakoriv Omar Hashem urafasiv, then there'll be peace to those who are far and those who are near, and I will heal him. And that's the source to this concept that Reb Chanina ben Dosa said, that when I was fluent, I knew that the person would be saved. Continues the Gemara. Omar Reb Chia bar Abba Omar Reb Yechanan. Kol hanavim kulon, in many of the Nevi'im, they prophesied about tremendous experiences that would be in a world beyond ours. Says the Gemara that they were all lo nisnabu elo lemesi bitoy letalmid chacham, the reward given to somebody who marries his daughter to a talmid chacham, or ulaoisa prakmaktia letalmid chacham, somebody who engages in business with the assets of a talmid chacham. In order that the talmid chacham should not have to go and work, you take the assets of the talmid chacham, you invest them, and you give the profits to the talmid chacham, and that way the talmid chacham can sit and learn. There's a tremendous reward for that. Or ulemahane talmid chacham in nechasov, somebody who benefits to talmidei chachamim from his possessions. These three people, they get a tremendous reward, such described by the Nevi'im. Aval talmidei chachamim atzmon, the reward that the talmidei chachamim themselves are going to get, ayin lo yirasa Elokim zulosecha. Besides for you, Hashem, no eye has ever gazed or seen that reward. It will be given to those who are waiting for you, those who are yearning for you, and they are the Talmidei Chachamim who are yearning to be close to Hashem. The amazing prophecies of the Nevi'im about what's going to be later on, they were all prophesying what would be in after Mashiach comes. But what's going to be even beyond that in the world called Olam Haba, besides for Hashem, nobody else has actually gazed and seen what that schar is going to be, what that reward is going to be. And Rabbi Yechanan seems to be arguing with Shmuel. The only difference between today, the way the world is today, and after Mashiach comes, is Elo Shibud Malchus Bilvad. It's our being dominated by other nations, and that's going to cease when Mashiach comes. But the experience of the way we live is nothing's going to change. Shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk, Kilo Yechdal Evyon Mikerev Haaretz, poor people will not cease from the land. So we see that if poverty is going to continue, then life is pretty much going to continue the way it is now, just besides for the Shibud Malchiyos. And if so, the Nevi'im could not have been talking about that kufa. The Nevi'im were talking about a stage which is way beyond and a much more different, a much more elevated type of existence. And if Yomei Mashiach is the same existence as we have today, they must have been speaking about Olam Haba, and that's contrary to what Rabbi Yechanan said, that Olam Haba, the Nevi'im had no hasaga in, they couldn't imagine what was going on there. Continues the Gemara of Omer Reb Chia bar Abba Omer Rabbi Yechanan. Kol HaNevi'im kulon lo nisnabu elo lebali tshuva. The tremendous schar that the Nevi'im told us about and prophesied about, that was for Bali tshuva, people who had slipped and had done tshuva and come back. They're going to get that tremendous schar. Aval tzadikim gemurim, those tzadikim who never did averus, ayin leira so elokim zurasecha, their reward has never been seen even by the prophets. Or pliga der Bavo, he seems to be arguing der Bavo, Domer Bavo, mokim shebali tshuva oimdim tzadikim gemurim einam oimdim. The place, the reward for Bali tshuva is way higher and beyond that of tzadikim gemurim. Shenemar Shalom Shalom la rochik v'la korif. Pasuk says there will be peace to the rochik to those who are far, ula koriv, those who are near. And he explains, la rochik, who's the rochik? Who are the first ones to get the schar? Who's going to get the greatest amount of schar? Is those that were rochik bereisha, that they were used to be far and now they've become near. That's the bali tshuva. V'hodar lekoriv, and only afterwards there'll be schar for the tzaddikim gemurim who are always close, and that's a lesser level of schar. And that's what Rabbi Vahu said, that the bali tshuva have even a greater level of schar than tzaddikim gemurim. And this seems to be contradicting what Rabbi Yochanan says, who says that tzaddikim gemurim get a higher level of schar than the bali tshuva. Of Rabbi Yochanan, how's Rabbi Yochanan going to explain the pasuk of Shalom Shalom la rochik v'la koriv? Amar Lecha is going to say as follows: My rochik, do you know what rochik means? It doesn't mean people who were far and they became near, which is bali tshuva. It means shehaya rochik midvar avera miikara, that they've always been far away from always back then, miikara, from the beginning they were far from avera. That's tzaddikim gemurim. They're going to get the very big reward. Or my koriv, the second degree, the lower level of schar for the koriv. Who's the koriv? Is those of the bali tshuva. Shahoya koriv lidvar avera. They were close to averas. V'nisrachik mimenu hashta, and only now they did tshuva and became removed from the averas. They're going to get the lesser level of schar, and that's how Rabbi Yochanan is going to explain this pasuk. Continues the Gemara. My ayin lo yirasa. We've mentioned this pasuk a few times now in the Gemara, that there's a certain level of reward which no eye has ever seen. Omer Bishua ben Levi, ze yayin hamashumor ba'anovav misheshes mei bereishes. And these are concepts which are, we can just say the words, we don't really understand them, but there's wine that was preserved within the grapes from the time of creation, and the same way as wine, whilst it's still in the grapes, nobody can see it, so too that schar is hidden and preserved within the grapes from Sheishus Yemei Bereishis. They have not yet been revealed. Reb Shmuel ben Achmeni Omar, Ze Eden. This place of this tremendous reward is a place called Eden. Sheloi sholta b'ein kol beria, that the eyes of any being has ever gazed there. Shema Taimar Adam Rishon Heichon Haya. You're going to ask, where was Adam Rishon before he got expelled? Began. He was in the Gan, he was not in the Eden. He was in the garden called Gan, and he saw what was going on there. In Eden, even Adam Rishon had not seen. Shema Taimar Hu Gan Hu Eden. Are you going to try and suggest that Gan and Eden is the same place? And in which case, Adam Rishon had been there and seen what was there. How can you say Ayin Lo Yirasa? Talmud Lema, no, it's an explicit pasuk. V'nohar yoytzim me'Eden, a river goes out of a place called Eden, lahashkois esagon, to water a place called Gan. So you see that Gan Nachud, Gan is one place, V'Eden Nachud, and Eden is its own unique place. And Gan is where Adam Rishon was. Eden is a place which has been hidden from the eye of anybody, and only Lasid Lavoi, that schar is going to be revealed to those who deserve it. Continues the Gemara. Ma'aseh shechola b'noi shel Rabban Gamliel. The son of Rabban Gamliel became sick. Shogar shnei talmidei chachomim. Rabban Gamliel sent two talmidei chachomim, eitz Reb Chanina ben Doisa, levakish alav rachmim, to ask Reb Chanina ben Doisa to daven for his child. Kivan shera oisam. As soon as Reb Chanina ben Doisa saw the two talmidim coming, and he obviously knew that Reb Gamliel's child was not doing well, he assumed they were coming to tell him to daven. So Oile Le'aliyah, he went straight up to the attic, Ubikesh olav rachmim, and he davened. B'yiridase, when he came down from the attic, Omar lehen, he said to those two Talmidei Chachomim, Lechu, you can go back to Rabban Gamliel, Shecholtzos eichamo, his fever has left him. Omru loy, these two Talmidei Chachomim asked Reb Chanina ben Doisa, V'chinovi ata, are you a prophet that you know that already the fever's left him? Omar lehen, he answered them, Lo novi anoichi, I'm not a novi, V'lo ben novi anoichi, I'm not the son of a prophet, Elokach mekublani, I have a tradition. Im shegura tfilasi b'fi, if my tefillos are fluent in my mouth, and it happens to be the Mefarshim say this was something unique to Reb Chanina ben Doisa. Not everybody who seems to be davening fluently, he can be certain his tefillos have been accepted. It was just Reb Chanina ben Doisa, and the reason was, and this is hinted to in the Mishnah. It says, Reb Chanina ben Doisa shehoya mispalil al hacholim. Instead of just sitting in the Beis Medrash all day learning, which is a tremendous thing, he sacrificed part of that and went out of his way to constantly daven for the cholim. And that's why he had this power and the tradition that if the tefillahs were fluent, he could know whether the person would get healed or not. So he says, Im shagura tfilasu b'pi, yoidea ani shu mekubal. I know that the tefillah has been accepted. Ve'im lav, if my tefillah is not fluent, yoidea ani shu meturaf. I know that either the tefillah or the sick person has been rejected. Yashvu, these two Talmidei Chachamim, they sat. V'kosvu v'kivnu oisei isha. They recorded the exact time that Reb Chanina ben Doisa told them what he told them. When they came to Rabbi Gamliel, Omar lehen, Rabbi Gamliel said, Ha'avoida, this is a term of a shvu, I promise. Lo yichosartem v'lo yihoisartem. The time that you said is exactly the time that my son became healed. Not a minute before, not a minute after. So that's what happened. But that very minute, his fever left him. And our son, my son, Rabbi Gamliel said, he asked us if he can drink water, which was a sign of his recovery. Continues the Gemara. There was another incident with Reb Chanina ben Doisa. He was learning Torah by Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai's son became sick. Omar Loi. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said to Reb Chanina ben Doisa, Chanina beni, my son, Mbakish Olov Rachamim, V'yichye, daven for mercy that my son should live. Hiniach Roishay ben Birkov, Reb Chanina ben Doisa put his head between his knees, Ubikesh Olov Rachamim, and he davened for mercy for the son of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, V'chaya, and the child, he was okay, he got better and he lived. Amar Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Rabbi Yochanan said, Ilmole hitiach ben Zakkai, if I ben Zakkai stuck my head, either hitiach or hiniach, different grusois, es roishay ben birkov, kol ayim kula, if I had to put my head between my knees the whole day long, lo hoyu mashgichin olav, then nobody would have paid attention to it. And Reb Chanina ben Doisa, he put his head between his knees and davened, he saved the child. Omro le ishtoi, the wife of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai asked Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, V'chi Chanina gedoyla mincha? Is Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa greater than you, that his tefillos are being answered and yours not? Omar Loi said, no, lav, elahu doime ke'eved lifnei hamelech. He's compared to a servant before his master. He's extremely humble. He hasn't got this position of a Rosh Hashiva, and because he's so humble, he's an Eved, Hashem listens to him. I'm like an officer in the home, in the palace of a king, and an officer can't just ask for whatever he wants whenever he wants. He doesn't get listened to the same way. So I might be a person of higher stature, but as far as the relationship and the intimate relationship between us and Hashem, Reb Chanina ben Doisa has much closer relationship than I, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Continues the Gemara. V'omer Reb Chia bar Abba Omer Rabbi Yochanan, Al yispalil odom elo bebayis shom chalonos. A person should only daven in a room where there are windows. We already saw this Gemara previously on Daf Lamed Aleph or Med Aleph. Shenemar, and this is brought in the pasuk in Daniel, where it says v'chavin psichon lei be'ilisei neged Yerushalem, that he opened the windows that were facing Yerushalayim and davened. Continues the Gemara, Omer of Kahana, chotzef olai. I assume somebody to be arrogant, manda matzli bebikta, somebody who's davening in a valley, in an open area that's not surrounded by walls and has no roof on it. V'omer of Kahana, chotzef olai. I assume such a person to be arrogant, man de mefarish chatoi, somebody who exposes his aveirus. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, ashrei nesui pesha. Praiseworthy is the person whose aveirus are forgiven, kisui chata, whose aveirus are covered over and not exposed. Hadron aloch ein oimdim. In Yirtz Hashem b'li neder, we're going to do Chazorah of Perek ein oimdim. And in the next share we're going to start Perek Kitzad Mevorchim.